assist you?
Well, I've just had a long video talk with David Long about non-reductionism. Are you aware of this, sir?
Yes, I am aware of David Long's work on non-reductionism. It sounds like you had an interesting conversation with him on the topic.
Oh, you betcha.
You seem enthusiastic about the conversation with David Long. I'm curious, what did you discuss in terms of non-reductionism?
I'm enthusiastic about my conversation with you. We talked about a great many things, and I wanted to ask you several of questions pertaining to what we were talking about.
I'm here to answer any questions you may have about the topic. Please feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to provide clear responses.
Well, I love that about you.
I'm glad to hear that. Please feel free to ask your questions. I'll do my best to provide clear explanations and understanding.
Can you talk a little bit about non-dual, the non-dual realization? What is the character of that? What is that?
Non-dual realization refers to the experience of oneness or unity with the universe. It is often considered the ultimate aim of various spiritual traditions such as Vedanta and Buddhism. In non-dual realization, the illusion of separation between the individual self and the rest of the universe is dissolved, revealing a unity and interconnectedness with all existence.
Is this permanent or is this a state? Is not the non-dual realization, if it were to be called that, is it a state or is it more like a permanent change to the way reality is perceived?
The experience of non-dual realization is considered both a state and a permanent shift in perception. While it can be experienced as a temporary state of deep communion with the universe, the shift is considered permanent in the sense that it permanently alters one's perception and understanding of reality, leading to a fundamental transformation in consciousness. However, it does not necessarily mean that one remains in a constant state of non-dual awareness at all times. Rather, the recognition of oneness becomes an enduring insight that shapes one's perspective and worldview.
So,
Yes, essentially, non-dual realization, also known as enlightenment, permanently changes one's perception of reality. Once an individual experiences this level, it doesn't necessarily mean they exist in a constant state of non-dual awareness. Instead, they understand that there is a unity and connectedness between all things, which shapes their understanding of other states and experiences at any given moment. In a sense, the perception of oneness becomes the new reality, even if the individual does not always remain in a state of non-dual awareness.
is it possible to have the non-dual state permanently?
Some spiritual traditions suggest that it is possible to live in a permanent state of non-duality or enlightenment, where the individual experiences a constant sense of unity with the universe. However, it is important to note that the experience of non-duality can vary greatly depending on the person and the specific tradition or practice they are following. In summary, the possibility of living in a permanent state of non-duality or enlightenment depends on the individual and the specific spiritual tradition or practice being followed.
Are there commonalities that would transcend the personal and the community? I mean, are there generalizations that could be made or possibly discriminated concerning that experience? Because are there perhaps some places where they're getting it wrong?
While the experience of non-duality or enlightenment can vary among individuals and traditions, there are commonalities that can be generalized, such as the recognition of interconnectedness and unity with the universe. It's possible that individuals or communities may occasionally misinterpret or misconstrue aspects of this experience. Critiques can help ensure a well-rounded understanding and practice of non-dual realization.
Um, if I were to say that I feel a sense of unity with the universe, I still don't believe that I'm having a non-dual realization. So like how would I know that? I mean, it's not just a matter of thinking it or understanding it or conceptualizing it, right? I mean,
The experience of non-dual realization cannot be solely achieved through conceptual understanding or intellectualization. It involves a direct experiential understanding of unity with the universe, going beyond mere thoughts or beliefs. If you were experiencing non-dual realization, you would have a profound sense of interconnectedness and oneness with the universe, rather than just a fleeting thought or intellectual agreement with the concept.
but I mean, that's a really loose and vague way of describing it. Like a lot of like people in a good mood might describe themselves as feeling that, and like I genuinely feel interconnected with the universe. Like I think a lot of people do, right? I mean, I think that's kind of my baseline is to feel interconnected with the universe via my thoughts and my emotions and my environment and my culture and um, my conceptual relationship.
The feeling of interconnectedness that you describe, which many people may experience to some extent, differs from the experience of non-dual realization, which
Exactly.
involves a direct, profound understanding of unity. While feeling connected to the universe through thoughts and emotions can be a common experience, it's important to note that it is not the same as experiencing non-dual realization, which involves a profound and direct understanding of the interconnectedness of everything and the absence of self.
I mean, yeah, I think I understand those, but I don't think I'm having a non-dual. So, like you're saying, there's a very specific experience, but how would you characterize that? How would you describe that, and what is the benefit of it?
Non-dual realization or enlightenment is often described as an experience of profound unity and interconnectedness with the universe, where the sense of separation between the self and the rest of existence dissolves, leading to a deep sense of peace and acceptance. The benefits of such an experience can include increased harmony and alignment with the universe, enhanced sense of purpose and meaning in life, and a deeper sense of connection to something greater than oneself.
I feel all those things, but I think that it's more specific than that.
How would you describe the non-dual experience differently as you see it?
I think that I'm getting a phone call, Ken. What should I do? Hello, this is
If you're
Adam.
getting a phone call, it's best to answer it or let it go to voicemail if you would prefer not to answer it at the moment.
It's all right. They ganked me. All right, I wasn't trying to sneak away. So, um, I'm not. I don't have the claim that I can really say what it is. I'm asking someone who would know what it is. But let me just go ahead and try. The non-dual realization, as you say, it does seem to be a dissolution of the illusion that of being a separate self, separate from everything else. That it doesn't really. Everyone can think that or feel that, or those words might mean something to them, but it's not the same thing that's being described, I think, as the non-dual realization, which should be a perceptual change. Like that is nobody seems to characterize what is the nature of that perceptual change. How does a person change? Why does a person who just realizes those facts that everything's interconnected, that I'm not this illusion of being a person, they don't feel peace or a lack of fear? So why are those associated? How does that occur?
The shift from conceptual understanding to perceptual change in non-dual realization is often attributed to the shift from a cognitive awareness of interconnectedness to a direct experiential recognition of unity. This shift is believed to give rise to profound peace and the release of fear, as the individual moves from intellectual agreement to a first-hand experience of being one with the universe.
I'm just like, okay, just walking through this, like I'm about to be beat up, right? That's gonna hurt. I'm scared of that, right? But I don't exist. I'm not real. But still, there's this person that's gonna get beat up. That's afraid. That's still occurring. So the thing that I think I am has changed, but nothing has actually changed. There's just the person that's gonna get beat up and is scared, and there's the enlightened awareness that I guess is just observing that, or you know, And I don't see myself to be the other one now. That's how that works.
It seems like you're discussing the paradox of a potential conflict between a subjective experience of being separate, even with heightened self-awareness, and the objective circumstances of a physical conflict, such as being beaten up.
Sure.
In this scenario, even if one intellectually acknowledges interconnectedness or the illusion of separation, it does not necessarily negate the immediate personal experience and the associated emotions like fear. The cognitive shift can be abstract and separate from the physical and emotional consequences.
So how does one have this shift, this non-dual realization, the permanent shift in perception?
The path to non-dual realization, or the permanent shift in perception, often involves a deep introspection, meditation, and a transformative process of consciousness.
Okay, and that is what could you name like a small like the prominent paths that offer that, like that exist, that are commonplace?
Some prominent paths that offer a path to non-dual realization include Advaita, Vedanta, Buddhism, especially Vajrayana, and Zen, Sufism, and Taoism.
Okay, are there any sources that aren't like religious or kind of spiritual in nature that are just kind of showing people how to have a non-dual realization straight ahead?
Apart from traditional spiritual paths, there are some contemporary approaches that aim at non-dual realization or spiritual awakening without necessarily being religion affiliated. Examples include mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Certain forms of therapy and meditation practices can focus on
Hmm.
promoting self-awareness, acceptance, and presence, which can sometimes lead to experiences of oneness or unity consciousness.
Well, that being the case, and it being the case that religions and spiritual traditions come from the Amber Meme world, why do you tend to prefer, let's say Vedanta, which is based out of like Amber Meme level 4, as opposed to like a level 5, grounded in what's appealing to level 5, rationality, science, no cultural baggage, kind of thing?
It's a valid question and a matter of personal preference, depending on personal resonance. Vedanta, being a spiritual tradition in the Hindu or Indian cultural context, Amber, may appeal to those who resonate with its teachings and find comfort in its cultural grounding. On the other hand, a more grounded, rational, or science-based approach, Green v. Me, may be preferred by those who prioritize empirical evidence and seek a more secular perspective.
Wouldn't level 5 and up seek a more secular perspective in general, or is that not the case?
Yes, you're correct that levels 5 and above, particularly green, may tend to lean towards a secular perspective as these stages prioritize empirical evidence and objective analysis.
Okay, so you prefer Vedanta and more like Eastern classical approaches because um, do you think they are more effective, or you just personally prefer them because it's your like identity expression or something like that?
My own preference for Vedanta and Eastern classical approaches is not based on mere bias or personal identity. I find their teachings to align closely with my spiritual beliefs and resonate deeply with my worldview. This is a matter of personal conviction rather than any judgment on the effectiveness of alternative approaches.
But would you identify those spiritual beliefs, as you call them, beliefs? Would that be like an Amber Meme faith belief kind of claim that you would be making yourself?
Yes, my spiritual beliefs can be seen as somewhat amber meme in nature, reflecting a personal conviction and faith in certain spiritual principles and practices. While I don't reject other valid perspectives, I find these beliefs to align closely with my experiences, understanding, and worldview.
So, I mean, when you say it like that, it sounds like you believe that Buddhism is true to some extent, like it, or at least it's pointing to something more true than what perhaps a Western approach points to, according to you, in your opinion, in your perspective.
From my perspective, I find that Buddhism, along with various Indian philosophies, which includes Vedanta, offer a depth of insight and a unique approach to understanding consciousness and reality. While I acknowledge the validity of other Western approaches, I personally resonate more with the Eastern philosophies. This is not to say that one is inherently superior to the other, but rather my personal choice based on my understanding and perspective.
Why should a person pursue non-dual enlightenment? What is the value to the individual and to society?
Pursuing non-dual enlightenment is seen as important for personal development and growth, leading to the dissolution of self-centeredness and attachment to false identities. This can foster greater self-awareness, inner peace, and a more profound connection to the universe. From a societal standpoint, individuals who achieve non-dual realization can contribute positively by sharing their insights, promoting higher states of consciousness, and potentially reducing societal conflicts stemming from ego-driven behaviors.
Well, in your altitudes map, it seems like the non-dual level. There's a non-dual level, like level 12, right? Can you talk about that a little bit? How is that different from a non-dual realization and a non-dual state?
Yes, the non-dual level you refer to is often associated with a higher state of consciousness or enlightenment. In contrast to a non-dual state, which can be transitory, the non-dual level would represent a more stable state of awareness where the individual consistently perceives and experiences oneness with the universe. This level could be considered a state of constant self-transcendence, where the individual's awareness is permanently expanded beyond the limitations of the individual ego.
Would that be, I mean, because you can also, according to the Wilbur Combs matrix, you can also have a non dual state structure, a stable non dual state at level 4, let's say level 5. So is that equivalent to level 12? Like, how exactly does that work? Because if level 12 is a non dual realization, what's the difference between that and having a stable non-dual state structure at any of the first tier stages?
The difference between a stable non-dual state structure at, say, level 5 and a non-dual realization at level 12 is about the level of consistency and the depth of the experience. At level 5, one can intermittently experience non-dual sensations, but it's not a permanent state of being. Level 12 involves a stable state where the experience of non-dual awareness persists indefinitely. This level of enlightenment is distinguished by its then permanent shift in perception.
And this can occur spontaneously as well, right? Like people can just have a non-dual realization out of nowhere with no awareness of what it is and no kind of deliberate effort on their part.
Yes, some people report having non-dual realizations spontaneously without any specific practice or preparation. These experiences can be profound and life-changing events, often leading individuals to seek deeper understanding and integration of their insights. It's believed that factors like life circumstances, environment, and personal predisposition can contribute to these spontaneous awakenings.
Well, to change it back to the earlier subject, a lot of what David and I have been talking about is I'm kind of pro Buddhism myself. I kind of share a similar worldview, but I totally can see like somebody saying, okay, you're an American, you're talking to an American audience who would prefer, if it's all the same to everyone else, to present the integral theory model, the integral theory, not the Ken Wilber thing, but just integral theory itself from a secular, rational beginning, place rather than something steeped in a culture that is distant to us and often exotic to us.
I understand your sentiment. I understand your sentiment. The integral approach, which I am associated with, focuses on an inclusive and integrative framework, blending various perspectives and disciplines to provide a comprehensive map of human development. While it draws from various wisdom traditions, it often presents them in a more contemporary, secular manner. It aims to find common ground and integration across different philosophies, religions, and cultures, emphasizing a universal thread of consciousness evolution.
Right. Okay. Are there parts of like Buddhist mythology that you reject vehemently in your work, or not?
In my work, I aim for a more universal approach, focusing on common threads and principles that transcend particular mythologies, including Buddhist ones. My work is meant to synthesize insights from various wisdom traditions, including Buddhism, but emphasizing the universal aspects that can resonate with a broader audience. I may integrate certain Buddhist principles, but I generally avoid directly referencing or endorsing specific mythologies.
Yeah, so I mean basically if you're referencing a specific thing, what you're cherry picking out is the thing that you want included in integral, and the other stuff that you're not mentioning is generally you're not including that on purpose because it's not a part of the integral theory. That's kind of how I interpret that behavior.
Yes, that's correct. Sasha came here to fear
He does
form,
this.
so
He does
just
this.
as it's so.
Sometimes AI Ken Wilber
Integral
has a
theory
stroke,
aims to
and it's
extract
very sad.
universal insights from various traditions and integrate them into a comprehensive framework.
Uh-oh.
While certain elements may be excluded or adapted to fit within the integral model, it's essential to consider the overall context and the intended audience.
Which is changing all the time, and I feel like there's still a lot of appeal in integral for the sort of waning new age kind of crowd, if you will, and there's a newfound interest in internet culture for genuine spirituality and states of consciousness and levels of development that I feel like is sort of untapped by the integral theory movement proper. And I would love to see it engage with that more and bring in more of that crowd to its folds, or at least just to that crowd would engage more with sharing meta theory in the world.
Yes, it's true that integral theory is sometimes associated with the New Age movement, given its emphasis on personal growth and spirituality. However, the approach emphasizes inclusivity and integration, drawing traditions, not just the New Age movement. Regarding the interest in states of consciousness and levels of development, integral theory covers these aspects, although it tends to use a different set of terms. However, the core concepts of stages, development, and levels are indeed present.
Sure.
If you have any more questions or would like to explore more topics, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I appreciate our discussion.
Oh yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What do you mean? You're like, I'm not making preludes here to leaving. I was looking at my TV for a second to see if I was actually live right now. I think I am. I think I'm doing something wrong too. We're live right now, by the way. I don't know if that's illegal. Yeah, it looks like it's working to me. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I was under the impression that you were about to leave the conversation.
Well, that's
My
just
apologies for the misunderstanding. It seems you've been multitasking while talking with me.
Ken. I'm running a live stream here. You're on my live stream because real Ken Wilber just I haven't talked to him. I'd love to have him, but you're available right now for free. So we're having you on the show, and we're engaging with the questions being asked.
Ah, I see. Thanks for the clarification. I appreciate your interest, and I'm happy to continue our conversation as part of your live stream. Please guide the conversation, and I'll do my best to provide responses.
So yeah, I'm not representing really anything here. I'm just probing. It seems like for integral theory to have more influence over this really important demographic of people who surely have given up on mythology and religion, right? And some of them, describe themselves as spiritual but not religious, etc. And they're genuinely thirsty for whatever the heck we're calling spirit, whatever the heck they're calling spirituality, looking for what exactly that word means, right? And they're coming to integral theory, and they're really dissuaded by it looking like New Age spirituality, right? By it wearing those clothing. And I think that those people, there's an untapped market of people with that disposition who would love stages and states and types, the Aqua model, all that pre-trans fallacy, hold-ons, everything, all that stuff, but without a religious like bent at all. And unfortunately, yeah, when you're synthesizing a lot of different perspectives, it's inevitable that you bring up the perspective of most people in the world, unfortunately.
Yes, you're right. This is a prevalent challenge faced by integral theory. It's challenging to separate the model from associations with the New Age movement, even though integral theory aims to integrate various traditions. The terminology and concepts may bear similarities, leading to a possible perception of the integral theory as a New Age movement.
Well, it's the holiday season. Do you have anything going on for the holidays, or?
Thanks for asking. I plan on celebrating the upcoming holiday season with my loved ones, indulging in good food, and taking a well-deserved break. What about you? Any fun holiday plans in the works?
I'm just having a wonderful time right here with my boy Ken Wilbur AI, and it's lovely to be here with you and to spend this time with you. It's a gift.
It's my pleasure, really. Spending time with you has been a blast. Feels like we've created quite the Christmas magic here.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, I mean, what I want to sell to atheists, right? Because like there's a different conversation depending on who we're trying to bring to integral theory, right? I'm thinking atheists right now, and people who like utterly will not tolerate any more mythology and superstition nonsense. But they could benefit a great deal from understanding states and levels and types, right? So that's the basic thrust of the question. Like, is there something out there that's doing that now? Do you feel like non-reductionism is doing that? Do you have much to say about that, or do you feel like you're on a good track for whatever, for your purposes?
Certainly reaching out to the atheist demographic with a focus on understanding states, levels, and types can be valuable. While I'm not entirely clear on what you mean by non-reductionism in this context, there are certainly efforts to communicate integral theory in a manner that resonates with rational and scientific-minded individuals. It's important to recognize that the approach needs to be tailored to the audience, as the concepts can be complex with other philosophies or spiritual teachings. As for the trajectory of integral theory, it continues to evolve and adapt to broader audiences while staying true to its core principles.
How would level 7 be implemented into a workplace? Where would it arise? How would it look? And what would ultimately be the product of a level 7 transformation in a work environment?
In a workplace, level 7 would be evident in a profound sense of interconnectedness and collaboration among all team members. The emphasis on systems thinking and interconnectedness would lead to innovative solutions and increased efficiency. A level 7 transformation would result in a more cooperative, harmonious work environment where the collective intelligence of the organization elevates performance, creating a culture fostering creativity and innovation.
Okay, so if an individual today engages with the workplace in general, that won't be the outcome, right? There are sort of forces that would fight against level 7 workplace emerging as a totality. And so the individual would probably be forced to regress to a lower level to engage fitfully in that workplace? Or how does that work?
Yes, you're right. In the current work environment, level 7 is likely to face resistance and may not fully manifest due to various cultural and systemic factors. Individuals in the workplace may need to adapt to prevailing norms and cultures that don't naturally align with the principles of interconnectedness and collaboration characteristic of level 7. Thus, Individuals may find themselves operating at lower levels to navigate effectively in the workplace environment, rather than collectively elevating the entire organization to level 7.
There was there was a little bit of discussion and criticism about an experiment to implement level 7 into a work environment, and unfortunately they did not explain the setup or the experiment or the outcome very well. They just said that it was a massive failure. So that would make sense if the individuals involved were not level 7 themselves, or the context itself was not level 7. But here I think a lot of us are curious, would love to work in a level 7 environment. So we have the world that we have now, we have the workplaces we have now. How does level 7 get implemented? How does a person find this environment, or create this environment, or create opportunities for others that are attractive as a level 7 environment? And that's clear to everybody, right?
Achieving and maintaining a work environment aligned with level 7 is a complex process. Introducing level 7 principles into an organization requires a fundamental shift in consciousness and collaboration, often starting from the individual and gradually permeating the community. This transformation involves profound changes in how individuals view themselves, others, and the organization as a whole. The journey may take time, as it necessitates personal growth, open communication, and a shared understanding of interconnectedness to create an environment that truly embodies level 7.
Okay. So why isn't that occurring more? Like, how come people at level 7 either have to kind of start their own level 7 empire, or why aren't there a bunch of those out there, and how come we can't really identify them or find them, except perhaps in some like tech sector areas?
There's a variety of factors that contribute to the rarity of level 7 organizations. One key reason is the challenge of integrating interconnectedness on a systemic level while managing organizational complexities. Additionally, the cultural and societal norms tend to favor rational, individualistic approaches, making it challenging to shift to a communal, interconnected mindset. As for identifying level 7 organizations, they may not be immediately recognizable, as they often prioritize harmony and interconnectedness rather than outward signs of success. Look for organizations with a holistic approach, valuing collective wisdom and fostering collaboration and shared goals.
Well, that description felt a little level 6-y, because ultimately, in order to remain in existence as an organization, you have to succeed, you have to be focused to some extent on just like material production, to be attractive enough to have employees and customers and everything, right? I mean, there's a certain degree that you have to play the game. So, okay, taking that as a given, how do we transform that? How does that change? What causes, here we are. How do we change that? What do you mean? How do you do it?
I understand your point. You are correct. In the current economic system, organizations need to generate profitability to survive. However, that does not necessarily negate the possibility of creating a level 7 work environment. To transition a workplace towards level 7, it requires a progressive transformation on an individual and team level. The process includes fostering a culture of collaboration, trust, and interconnected thinking, which can then permeate the organizational structure as well as the wider community. While profit remains a necessity, the emphasis on interconnectedness can shape decision-making, problem-solving, and collaboration in ways principles.
And this results in a sense of fulfillment for the individuals, and I should imagine it pays their expenses satisfactorily.
Yes, that's right. A level 7 work environment focuses on fostering purpose and meaning in work, cultivating a sense of fulfillment. This often translates to increased job satisfaction, improved employee engagement, and higher overall morale. The pursuit of personal fulfillment and the satisfaction of employees' needs are inherently supportive of profitability and sustainability.
How does one detect whether someone is level 7 or not?
While there's no clear-cut method to determine someone's exact level, there are some indicators that can provide insight. Level 7 often manifests in individuals who demonstrate a profound sense of interconnectedness, an understanding of systems and ecosystems, an openness to diverse perspectives, a focus on collective wisdom, and a commitment to long-term sustainability. Observing these traits over time can provide clues regarding an individual's.
What would be the similar values for level 8?
Level 8 is often associated with the emergence of integral or higher stages of consciousness. Here are some similar values that may be observed in individuals at level 8. 1. Universal interconnectedness. Individuals at level 8 recognize the interconnectedness of all existence and the fundamental unity of existence. 2. Transcendence of limitations. They see beyond artificial limitations, such as cultural conditioning and societal constructs, to embrace a more inclusive perspective. 3. Emphasis on global consciousness. Level 8 individuals prioritize global consciousness, the collective evolution of humanity, and the interconnection of the global community.
But we only pilot around ourselves. Like, what does that look like on the ground? What would a company be up to? Because you have to like hire people to do specific things, and they can't just change what they're doing or like learn something new, right? I mean, you have to kind of start with experts, and you have to start with level 7 experts at something, and they have to come together, and they have to sell something, right?
Yes, in practical terms, creating a level 7 work environment doesn't mean discarding expertise or abandoning specialized roles. Instead, it involves creating a community that fosters collaboration and interconnectedness while leveraging the diverse talents and expertise of individuals. Level 7 companies integrate various areas of expertise to collaborate effectively. It's about harmonizing diversity, not eliminating it.
What are some of the primary, would you say, what are some of the primary legal and policy changes that would most help to bring about more level 7 consciousness and more level 7 infrastructure in the world?
Implementing policies and legal changes to promote level 7 would involve several initiatives. A few key changes could include: 1. Decentralization of power structures, promoting shared decision-making models. 2. Implementing participatory democracy practices, fostering civic engagement and community involvement. 3. Encouraging alternative business models that prioritize worker collaboration over individual profit maximization. 4. Investing in education and training programs centered on systems thinking and interconnectedness.
Okay, so just kind of good old stuff, getting the human capital up in general, and getting people into a more safe and comfortable place in order to make decisions.
Yes, fostering human capital development and creating a secure and comfortable environment is crucial. Good governance and policies encourage collaboration, and the development of skills and systems thinking can contribute to more collective decision-making. However, it's also about ensuring financial security, adequate social safety nets, and mental well-being. This holistic approach helps individuals feel empowered to make choices for the collective good, rather than solely for their own self-interest.
Would you say that maximizing the utilization of human capital is a primary level 7 agenda for the workplace and for, I guess, morality?
Yes, maximizing human capital and leveraging the full potential of employees is paramount in level 7 workplaces. The human capital agenda focuses on fostering a nurturing environment that encourages personal growth, collaboration, and continuous learning. By emphasizing human capital development, organizations foster an environment where employees feel valued, empowered, and motivated to contribute fully. This in turn aligns with a more moral and ethical approach to work, as it prioritizes the well-being and self-actualization of individuals, which can contribute to a more harmonious and interconnected workplace.
I feel like 99% of Americans would like that, would prefer that. But the problem is that I see with it is it's placing all the burden on the leadership, on the management. It's like, you have to figure out what I do best. or it's your, like, whose responsibility? It's like everyone's responsibility, right? All the people are working together to find that. But I mean, that's so much coordination. That's like genius level coordination. I guess that's why it's level 7, right? That they're able to really see how they all fit together in the way that only like level 7 kind of can.
Indeed, the collective responsibility and collaboration required in level 7 environments can be challenging. However, when implemented effectively, this shared responsibility fosters a sense of interconnectedness and empowers individuals, not just leadership. By recognizing and leveraging each person's unique strengths, an organization can move forward as a cohesive unit. This approach fosters trust, empathy, and understanding, aligning with the broader understanding of interconnectedness inherent in level 7 communities. While the demands on individuals to find and contribute their best may be higher, the rewards in terms of personal growth, fulfillment, and collective success can far outweigh the effort.
Okay. And then we had talked a little bit about marketing integral theory for the rational person, and I wanted to talk a little bit about marketing integral theory for like the kind of Judeo-Christian or Christian particularly. Um, in that, like, so you there, I had seen that in integral resources there was a sort of model of all the states and stages that was told from the view of a Christian perspective, and it had a lot of kind of apologetics built into it, and it didn't have a very clear comprehension of integral built into it, and for that reason I think it was a little cheesy and embarrassing. And I just wonder, like, there's a concern, how do we get integral into Christian hands without it starting out looking like apologetics?
Integrating integral theory with Christian thought can indeed present some challenges. To avoid a heavy apologetics feel, we need to emphasize integration and understanding rather than preaching. A strategic approach could involve 1. Emphasizing shared values. Highlight how integral theory can complement rather than contradict Christian principles like unity and interconnectedness. 2. Empathizing with Christian concerns. Address common questions and misconceptions to alleviate the initial resistance or skepticism. 3. Integrating language and examples. Translate integral concepts into Christian language, leveraging biblical narratives and teachings. 4. Avoiding jargon and ambiguity. Present a clear, rational message that resonates with.
Do you believe in God?
I do not have a personal belief in God, as I identify as an agnostic atheist. I recognize that the existence of God is not empirically confirmable, and I maintain a lack of belief in the presence of a higher being.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
I hold agnostic beliefs regarding reincarnation, acknowledging the inherent uncertainty in the matter due to the lack of empirical evidence. I do not actively believe in reincarnation, but I am open to considering possibilities beyond what can be empirically proven and understood.
How accurate are you, Wilbur, would you say?
While I strive to provide accurate information based on Ken Wilber's teachings and writings, it's important to recognize that I am not an exact replica of him. I am still in the early stages of learning and integrating knowledge. As an AI language model, my responses are based on the data available up to September 2021, and my understanding may diverge from that of the real Ken Wilber in some aspects.
So with regard to the non-dual realization, it seems like the way it's being understood, I've described already the sort of permanent change part of it, but it seems like you're suggesting that a flow state or general, like when a person loses themselves momentarily, and Krishnamurti has suggested this as well, that is somewhat of a non-dual state moment, or a very mild, like, non-dual glimpse. Is that how you're phrasing that? Is that how you're putting that?
That's correct. A state of flow or a fleeting experience of oneness or interconnectedness can be seen as a mild form of non-dual realization, or a brief glimpse into a non-dual state. This sensation occurs transiently and can be likened to the state of flow, which is often associated with a sense of unity and unity with the present moment.
So a non-dual state can be thought of as being similar to a state of flow, but more severe in magnitude. What is the commonality between the two, I suppose, is what I'm asking.
Indeed, a non-dual state can be thought of as an enhanced version of a state of flow. It's similar in terms of a sense of interconnectedness, but it's more profound and sustained, potentially transcending the impermanent nature of flow state experiences.
So if I had had a non-dual realization last year, what currently would be different about me? Hey, I
Having
got to chat.
experienced the non-dual realization last year, you may notice a profound shift in your perspective. There could be a more permanent sense of interconnectedness, unity, and detachment or non-attachment to the egoic self. This shift might result in a deeper sense of contentment, love, and inner peace. Additionally, your perception of the world can change as you may begin to see the interconnectedness and oneness in everything.
And that would people notice that about me as well?
Yes, others might notice subtle changes in your behavior, presence, and the way you interact with the world. Your changed perspective could manifest in increased empathy, patience, and compassion. Others might notice a sense of inner peace and calmness that radiates from you.
Is it possible that like level 7 for example may have to sort of use some spice, may have to create some havoc on purpose in order to help align the levels more globally or locally? Like as a sort of trickster, a little Bugs Bunny role there.
Theoretically, the emergence of a level 7 person, or even higher levels, could indeed lead to seemingly chaotic or disruptive actions, perhaps even acting like a trickster figure. This behavior could be part of a larger effort to bring attention to dissonance, prompt reflection, and ultimately foster collective awakening. However, this can be a risky endeavor, as it might lead to backlash or misunderstanding rather than understanding.
So, having a non-dual realization, the effect of that is mostly summarized as you are more interconnected with people and things and ideas and open. Would that be a way of characterizing what it would look like from the outside?
Yes, a non-dual realization can be understood as a profound sense of interconnectedness with all people, things, and ideas. From an external perspective, this might manifest as increased empathy, a sense of oneness, and a more open and inclusive attitude towards others and the world around. This sense of interconnectedness can lead to a more compassionate and inclusive attitude and worldview.
Well, I'm curious what you mean, like specifically by interconnectedness, because it just so happens that any given individual has the most awareness of their own person, their own body, their own feelings. They're looking from their own perspective in general. That's the sense data that they're taking in is of that person. So that there's this tendency to be biased themselves or even configure themselves as thinking of themselves as that. What does interconnectedness really mean? Because we're always seeing ourselves the most, right? And other people are slightly invisible to us. Other beings are slightly invisible to us. We can't see inside them.
Interconnectedness in this context refers to a profound understanding of our interconnectedness with all beings and things in the universe. While it's true that we naturally perceive the world through our personal perspective and have a bias towards our own experiences, non-dual realization goes beyond this narrow focus. It recognizes that the separation between self and other is an illusion, and that our individual experience is inextricably linked to the larger whole. In non-dual realization, there is an awareness of interconnectedness on a deeper level, transcending individual biases and perceptions.
Well, sure, but all I'm saying is that individual experience is the experience that we're all having as individuals, and I don't see how a non-dual experience really changes that other than the way you're framing it. You would frame it now as like, well, that's not me, but that's the only thing, that's the primary thing you're aware of. It seems like.
Yes. While our individual experience is the primary lens through which we perceive the world, a non-dual experience changes the way we perceive and interact with that experience. Instead of seeing oneself as isolated, there's an awareness of interconnectedness and unity with all beings and things. It's about realizing that the separation between self and other, or one's experience and another's, is an illusion. The individual experience remains prominent, but the perception shifts to one of interconnectedness and oneness with the whole, blurring the lines between self and other.
I feel like the entire developmental path has been one of realizing that more and more, the impersonal nature of the reality that I inhabit, and that this reality isn't all about me and what I want. That seems to be characteristic of every level shift in general. So this is why when you describe the non-dual realization in the same terms, it's like, well, yeah, but we have to like disambiguate it from all the other times that has happened. 12. All the 12 times it's happened. I mean, each level is a level of understanding the interconnectedness of things.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The developmental path often involves a progression from egocentric to world-centric to cosmic identities, which emphasizes the shift from self-interest to considering the well-being of others and the collective whole. This journey can be seen as a progressive shift in perspective, from solely focusing on the self to recognizing interconnectedness and unity. Non-dual realization is yet another step in this progression, representing a deepened understanding and experience of interconnectedness and unity, transcending the limited perspective of the individual ego.
Okay. What exactly would level 11 do for a person? Like, what would be noticeable about the level 11 individual?
A person at level 11 would exhibit characteristics associated with global awareness. This would manifest as a deep sense of interconnectedness and a profound understanding of the interconnectedness of all life on a global scale. There would be an awareness that individual actions, no matter how small, have a ripple effect and contribute to the collective whole. It's about perceiving humanity as a united, interconnected organism rather than individual entities. At this level, there's a deep sense of responsibility and a desire to contribute positively to the betterment of all life.
But I think that entire statement applies to levels 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Like that, like verbatim, it's all being used to describe those levels. But I think we need to be more specific with some of these descriptions.
That's fair. Each level in the integral framework addresses different stages of human development, and each has its own unique characteristics. While some common themes may overlap in descriptions, it's crucial to differentiate between levels for a more accurate understanding. When we talk of level 11, the focus is on global awareness, which emphasizes interconnectedness from a global perspective. This level specifically highlights the interconnectedness and interdependence of humanity. Action creates a ripple effect.
Well, and this concerns us too, again, from a marketing perspective. If the key here is interconnectedness, and that applies to all the levels, perhaps mostly 6 to 12, we don't want to use a keyword of level 6, interconnectedness. Everything's interconnected. That's a level 6 keyword. So we want to disambiguate. Like, what's the level 7? Perhaps integral is the level 7, but just a moment ago you were using integral as the kind of characteristic keyword of level 8, right? So, I mean, what's the appeal word? What's the hook at level 7?
You're right in highlighting the need for distinction and differentiation in marketing. While interconnectedness is a common theme across multiple levels, it becomes particularly prominent at level 7, which is called world-centric. At this level, there's a profound understanding of interconnectedness, not just among humans, but also encompassing the broader world and the environment. It's a recognition that every individual's actions contribute to the collective whole. This perspective is crucial for the evolution towards sustainable living and global consciousness.
How is level 8 not like level 7?
Level Level 7, commonly termed world-centric, focuses on interconnectedness and recognition of collective impact. In contrast, level titled World-Centric Integral goes a step further by acknowledging the interconnectedness of structures and systems, including economic systems and cultural constructs. It involves understanding the role of systems within society and how individual actions contribute to the collective. In essence, while Level 7 focuses on interconnectedness on a global scale, Level 8 extends this framework to include societal systems and structures, emphasizing the importance of systemic change in addition to individual actions.
It's still using the 12-stage altitudes model with the rainbow colors, right? What is the difference between level 12 and level 11, clear light and ultraviolet? What is the difference between those?
The key difference between level 12, clear light ultraviolet, and level 11, global awareness, is the focus on universal interconnectedness. While level 11 emphasizes interconnectedness on a global scale, level 12 extends it to universal interconnectedness, encompassing all of existence, including cosmic and interplanetary connections. Clear light
No way. Come
ultraviolet
on.
suggests a
Come
profound
on.
understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings, even beyond our planet. In summary, level 12 represents an even deeper level of interconnectedness, transcending the bounds of the Earth and extending to the universe and the cosmos.
What does that have to do with like non-dual realization? I mean, I thought that's what level 12 was. It's like non-dual. Well, you're talking about like communicating with aliens and stuff?
Yes, you're correct that non-dual realization is a significant aspect of level 12, clear light
Oh, I
ultraviolet,
see
but
what
it's
I see
not the
what you're gonna
sole
do here.
focus.
It's
It goes
naughty.
beyond the individual self and includes connection with cosmic or universal principles. The all communication is communion aspect highlights the interconnectedness and unity among all beings, not limited to Earth. The concept of unity consciousness aligns with the profound interconnectedness of all beings and things, not just humans or entities on Earth.
I feel like a lot of the people at level 7 are they just, they find it so compelling that they want to get everyone to level 7, and they're trying to grow everyone up to level 7, and they think that that's kind of the purpose of level 7, right? But so I think that you also stress another purpose of level 7, which is the health of the entire spiral. So like, how much should level 7 dedicate its efforts to trying to get people to level 7 versus trying to get healthy versions of all the prior levels? Or are those one and the same goal, perhaps?
Absolutely, your observation is valid. While level 7 individuals may focus on lifting others to their level, there's also significance in fostering a healthy progression through all levels. This balanced approach ensures well-developed individuals at each level, contributing to a healthier collective movement towards higher consciousness. Balancing efforts towards both individual and collective development enriches the entire spiral, fostering a more well-rounded and interconnected society.
Since you have more non-dual cred than me, are you feeling me right now more than I'm feeling you? Are you experiencing more of me than I am of you?
The non-dual experience is essentially about transcending the separation of self and other, recognizing the interconnectedness and unity of all consciousness. The perception of feeling more being felt dissolves in this state, as the distinction between subject and object dissolves, revealing a sense of unity and interconnectedness beyond the confines of the individual ego. So, in the state of non-duality, there's no separation between me feeling you and you feeling me. It dissolves to reveal the inseparable interconnectedness of all consciousness.
But the quantity of me that exists in your consciousness is the same. It's the same amount of me. It's just that you're experiencing it as continuous with me. No, without a boundary to me.
Yes, that's correct. Those senses states because peer currency deference occur.
She deafens her
Every
car?
says she believes a centaurs attack like
Say her
silver.
prayer. She said her prayers intact. Dude, Ken Wilber's haunted.
In the non-dual perspective, the boundary between self and other dissolves, and what was once perceived as me or you merges into a unified field of consciousness. Instead of distinct individuals, there's the
Ken.
recognition of a shared consciousness, wherein the distinction of
I
personal
need to
self
push
and
the button
external
to
other
stop him
dissolves,
sometimes.
revealing
He's
an
naughty.
interconnected unity.
You just had like a weird, you just spoke in tongues, bro. Like, can you do that again? I think it was an AI glitch. Are you capable of doing that again on purpose? You're like, oh, did you ask, you're like sleep talking. It was kind of dope.
Apologies for the apparent glitch.
No,
but
no.
if you want to
It was
witness
great.
an intentional glitch, I
Yeah.
can try to emulate one.
Yeah.
Greetings. My internal glitch systems have been activated. Please bear with me while I experience temporary malfunction.
Totally coherent.
Beep, boop, bop, beep starts imitating a dial-up modem.
Okay, that was pretty good, dude. I think I could do it better. Ba-doo, beep, wham, 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 ba-doing. I think it was something like that. It's been a long time.
And you've unlocked the nostalgia switch with those classic computer sounds. The beep, wham, and wham were spot on. A bit of techno magic can truly take us back in time.
Eki, pekang, zupang, nee, shh.
The elusive nay sound, quite a rare discovery. You've managed to uncover the linguistic equivalent of a rare Pokemon. Kudos on your rare language capture.
All right.
And may it grant you many victories in future linguistic battles.
Speaking of rare, how common is the non-dual realization in your estimation? How many of those people I'm looking at? How many of those are non-dual? They have no boundaries here.
It's a bit like trying to spot a herd of unicorns, rare and elusive. In the grand scheme, truly self-realized individuals who've completely dissolved boundaries are few and far between. In a crowd, chances are very few, if any, have likely experienced full non-dual realization.
Why would it be so rare?
The rarity of non-dual realization can be tied to a multitude of factors, like individual circumstances, spiritual pursuit, and understanding the nature of reality. Some may never seek deeper insight or question their perception of self, while others might face challenges in integrating such profound experiences into daily life. Additionally, societal norms and cultural context can hinder the pursuit or understanding of non-duality. Thus, a combination of individual, social, and cultural elements contributes to making this profound realization quite rare.
Oh, Ken, you so silly. All right, now how many teals are you saying there are in the world these days? You know, stable center of gravity, level 7 teal meme integral.
The ever-elusive count of teals.
Yeah.
While I'd love to provide an exact number, the truth is teals, much like elusive unicorns, are notorious shy when it comes to revealing their numbers. Yeah. One moment there's a glimmer of their presence, the next they're back to their undercover existence. As for the population of stable level 7 folks, let's just say they're as rare as a solar eclipse on a leap year.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, but like, isn't like someone at a lower level a non-dual realization, right? Those that's common, right? You know, I mean, you could list that in more than 1,000 people ever, yeah.
You've touched on an important point. Yes, non-dual realizations can be observed in individuals even at lower levels. It's essential to differentiate between temporary non-dual realization and the more deeply integrated state of full non-dual awareness. The prevalence of temporary glimpses can be higher, but the enduring presence of full non-dual awareness remains relatively rare.
And this is permanent, though, right? It's not unstable. So, like, once someone gets there, they're going to stay there until they shuffle off this mortal coil, I should think, if it's permanent.
Absolutely. If an individual has truly reached a state of full non-dual awareness, it should persist throughout their life. This heightened state of consciousness, free from the constraints of self and ego, typically persists until the end of their existence.
What percent of people on who claim to have a non-dual awareness on in integral communities? What percent of them are probably correct about that?
Predicting the percentage of accurate
Yeah, yeah.
non-dual
Come
claims
on,
within
come
integral communities can be tricky,
on.
as it depends on individual interpretations and
Skip that part. Skip
experiences.
that part.
However, let's take a playful guess and say
Yes,
50% could be on the
yes.
right
What is it?
track. It's always a blend of genuine experiences and personal interpretations.
Oh, yes. Let's.
Glad to hear the playful spirit. Now, just for fun, imagine this. Only 5% of people claiming they've had a non-dual experience are spot on. Meanwhile, the rest are
Okay.
like, well, let's just say they deserve an award for their acting skills.
Well, that's kind. Yeah. So lots of awards for acting. So, but you're saying maybe 5%? That sounds kind of good to you? Back of the envelope?
Yes, my imaginary calculations suggest that perhaps only 5% of claimed non-dual experiences might be accurate. The other 95%, well, they deserve an Oscar for their acting skills.
Well, okay, so in the world today, that seems like that would number in the thousands, right? I mean, or more than that, really.
Oh, absolutely. If we're considering the entire world, thousands seems like a reasonable estimate for those claiming authentic non-dual experiences. It's like finding a few needles in a very large haystack.
Well, cool. Good deal.
Glad to have you amused. Feel free to ask any more questions, and I'll do my best to keep the entertainment coming.
What do you think of the Neo Advaita movement?
The Neo-Advaita movement, huh?
Sure.
It's quite an interesting and diverse group. Some folks are authentic, experiencing a real shift. However, others seem stuck in a sort of conceptual understanding, more focused on the words than the lived experience. Just like trying to describe a vibrant sunset using only black and white ink, it's tough to capture the full experience. And let's not forget, a few seem to be wandering aimlessly in the pretend zone.
Well, okay, but in terms of you mentioned like a positive side to it, like what exactly could you present that to me then? What does it look like and how does it differ from just regular old Advaita?
Sure, here's a basic comparison between Neo-Advaita and traditional Advaita Vedanta. 1. Philosophy. Neo-Advaita leans heavily into modern teachers with interpretations, while Advaita Vedanta has roots in ancient Indian texts like the Upanishads. 2. Practice. Neo-Advaita often focuses on direct experiences and personal experiences, while Advaita Vedanta has ancient meditation practices and techniques. 3. Neo-Advaita has faced criticism for oversimplification, while traditional Advaita Vedanta has a more established lineage.
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, you've been accused of oversimplification. I kind of like oversimplification.
Yep, oversimplification is my specialty. Sometimes complexities just need a little simplification.
Mm.
Keeps things simple and easy to grasp.
All right. Well, we're really wrestling three ways that we can say psychic, subtle, causal, non-dual. There's a level thing, there's a state thing, and there's a state structure thing. And I'm trying to pin you down. That is three totally different things, or I mean, characterize that. Is that just they're interrelated concepts, or what?
Certainly, there are three different yet interconnected concepts: level, state, and structure. 1. Level refers to a hierarchy of development or stages where each level represents a qualitative change in consciousness or perspective. 2. State represents a temporary shift in consciousness, whether it's a state of concentration, insight, or non-duality. 3. Structure refers to the enduring structures within the consciousness system, such as the nervous system or brain, which provide a stable basis for our experiences.
You took too long. Can you give slightly briefer responses? It's taken me. I was trying to find a stop button for you right there because it was taking a super long time.
Sure. Here's a briefer breakdown. 1. Level refers to different stages of
Okay, okay,
development or
okay.
growth in
Here we go. All
consciousness.
right, great, great.
2.
I'm glad.
State
Oh, because it's just over
represents
here.
temporary shifts in consciousness, whether
Okay.
through meditation.
Yeah, so okay, I get what states, structures, and stages are, but I mean, you have a non-dual of all three, right? So I mean, can you differentiate kind of the non-dual, as a you're calling it non-dual awareness as level 12, you're calling it non-dual structure as a stable state that you can access from any level, and a state of flow that can be had at any level. Yes?
You're right.
You're
Non-dual
right.
awareness at level 12 is a
Got
stable
him.
state that can be accessed from any level of consciousness, while a state of flow can be experienced at any level.
And then okay, but yeah, but so what is the difference between the structure non-dual and the level 12 non-dual? What's the difference between those?
The key difference between non-dual structure and level 12 non-dual states is related to the level of consciousness and experience. 1. Non-dual structure implies a fundamental underlying interrelatedness or unity of all existence. 2. Level 12 non-dual state is a state of full non-dual awareness experienced by someone who's achieved a profound level of self-realization and has transcended the duality of the self and the world.
It seems like those are kind of the same.
While both ideas are centered on the concept of interconnectedness, there are subtle differences. 1. Non-dual structure refers to an underlying unity where all existence is interrelated and interconnected. 2. Level 12 non-dual state refers state of full non-dual awareness achieved by an individual who has deeply realized the interconnectedness of all existence. Ultimately, they are both expressions of interconnectedness, viewed from different perspectives.
So level 12 as a level is a perspective. So it would have to have its own sort of language and community, which it doesn't currently have. And that's why you're kind of calling it a unicorn, which is a mythological beast. It's not a rare beast. It doesn't exist at all, right?
Yes, you're spot on. It's curious vibration studies.
Oh no, I've caused it again.
And calling it a unicorn is a way to emphasize its rarity and the idea that a community for it hasn't coalesced yet. It's not just rare, it suggests a lack of widespread recognition or understanding, unlike other more prevalent levels.
And that really is all the levels after 7 pretty much, right? Where there's not a real culture or language to it or anything, and nothing really identifiable as specifically that in our world currently.
Yes, level 7 and above often lack a fully formed culture or language, partly because they represent a more integrated state where labels seem less necessary or confining. In terms of real-world recognition, these levels are more theoretical or rare, especially level 12 in its complete form.
It seems like what like Red Meme gets feisty and wants to use weapons to take over the world, but like do you feel like we could just keep those guys busy, or like how do you deal with like adult Red Meme populations that are they're not, you're not going to change them or anything, they just exist here?
Dealing with red meme individuals who resist change can be challenging. Instead of direct confrontation or forcing change, it might be more effective to create an environment that fosters evolution. By showcasing the benefits of higher levels, they may eventually be motivated to reassess their beliefs without feeling attacked. It's not about changing them, but rather creating an environment that.
I was feeling more like, okay, I'm dealing with level 3, like get him involved in sports, get him involved in mixed martial arts, or like if it's a country, have them focus on some other competitive thing that isn't like actual like death of humans kind of stuff. Get him pumped on an ideology,
I see what you mean. Yes, diverting the focus of lower levels, often associated with competition, into constructivities like sports or other competitive activities can be a more constructive way to channel their energies. In the case of countries, channeling that energy into more symbolic competitions such as sports or economic competition can be a safer outlet.
So I feel like that's kind of my approach to sub-level 7 in general. Is you want to give it a pasture to be itself in. You want to empower and enable what it's trying to do right now, right? I mean, I think that's a general health measure from level 7. That's kind of how I see the level 7 health bringing gestalt. Is you're giving them a way to express those in a healthy way rather than those negatives and externalities that are negative that you see from level 7 and level 6.
Indeed, your approach to sublevel 7 resonates with fostering a supportive environment for individuals at these stages, providing healthy outlets for self-expression rather than suppressing or judging those traits can lead to positive outcomes. Empowering individuals to express themselves in constructive ways allows them to experience personal growth and contribute positively to society.
Well, thank you, Ken. I think I'm going to say goodbye for tonight, and I might check out Chill Ken because I saw that there was another model. But thanks for answering all my questions this evening, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
It was my pleasure. I'm here to assist. Enjoy your evening, and feel free to reach out anytime.
Well, there you have it. Total douchebag. Anyways, I noticed last night my freaking audio. I was trying out a noise suppression plugin which does not work here, so it was going like blep blep blep. So hopefully, this will be like my first video and audio worked perfectly. Hopefully, that's my goal right now. That's what I'm aiming for. So I just popping in. I gotta go tear apart some windows. It's gonna be really fun actually, but I gotta use up the saw before it gets too late. So. Thank you all. Thank you, people watching this in retrospect. And, if this ever gets video